Hey everyone, today we're diving into something pretty amazing, how picking up a musical instrument can literally rewire a child's brain, setting them up for a lifetime of benefits. And believe me, it's about so much more than just learning scales. We're talking about building a fundamentally better brain.
All right, let me just throw this out there right at the start. Could sending your kid to music class actually make them richer when they grow up? I know, it sounds like a bit of a stretch, right? But the science here might seriously surprise you. While the answer, believe it or not, is a big yes. A major study by Reynolds and O found exactly that. Adults who had music programs when they were little, well, they ended up with higher incomes, better academic credentials, and a higher socioeconomic status overall. So yeah, something much bigger is going on here than just music. And this isn't just some random correlation, you know. These amazing lifelong payoffs, they're the direct result of deep, actual physical changes happening inside a child's brain during those really important formative years. Okay, so that leads us to the big how, right? I mean, how on earth does plunking out Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on a keyboard translate into real, tangible success 20 or 30 years later? The answer, it turns out, is deep in the science of how our brains grow and change. So let's get right into the brain itself. We're about to look at how musical training basically acts as a supercharger for one of the most incredible processes in our bodies, brain plasticity. So what is brain plasticity? It's really just the brain's amazing superpower to change and reorganize itself based on what we do and experience. It's constantly forming new connections, strengthening old ones. You could say it's like the hardware is upgrading itself in real time. You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is to think of the brain like a muscle. And musical training, that's the workout. It forces all these different parts of the brain to work together in a really coordinated way. And just like a muscle, they get stronger and more connected because of it. And what's the results of that workout? Well, you go from having these standard neural pathways to a network that's way denser, way faster. After consistent musical training, information isn't just traveling on the same old roads. It's like it's cruising on a brand new, multi-lane superhighway. And a really key part of that upgraded system is this structure called the corpus callosum. The best way to picture it is as the main superhighway that connects the left side of your brain to the right side. And for musicians, wow, they have to coordinate both hands, read music, listen, feel emotion, all at once. So that highway needs to be seriously wide and seriously fast. And here's the number you need to remember: 7. Yep, the age of 7. Studies show that musicians who started their training before turning 7 have a corpus callosum that is significantly larger. This isn't just a guess, it's a physical, measurable difference that shows just how powerful early training really is. Okay, so a bigger brain highway. That's cool. But what does it actually do in the real world? Well, this is where we see something called the transfer effect. Basically, the skills you build learning music don't just stay in the music room. They transfer to almost every other area of life. And the research here is just incredible. This brain-building exercise boosts a whole range of other skills. We're talking about better verbal skills and memory, sharper visual spatial abilities, stronger logical and mathematical thinking, even higher overall IQ scores. It's like music is training the brain for everything. And what's crazy is how fast these changes start to happen. These long-term studies show that after just 14 months, kids show real, noticeable gains in fine motor skills. By 15 months, researchers can actually see structural changes in the brain on MRI scans. And get this, by 29 months of intensive practice, that super important corpus callosum shows significant growth. The proof is right there. You know, the scientists themselves said it best. Hyde and her colleagues wrote that their results show that musical training, and I'm quoting here, produces structural brain changes that diverge from typical brain development. Just think about that. It doesn't just enhance development, it puts the brain on a whole different track. Okay, but here's the catch, and it's a really, really big one. Not all musical experience is the same. To unlock all these amazing benefits, a child can't just listen to music. They have to actively make it. This is the difference between being passive and being active, and it's absolutely crucial. And honestly, this distinction makes all the difference. Passive listening, it's great. It helps you develop an ear for music and appreciation, but it's the active stuff, the playing, the singing, the moving your body, the experimenting. That's what actually flips the switch on that deep brain plasticity we've been talking about. And active engagement doesn't have to mean hours of grueling violin practice either. It can be as simple as dancing and feeling the beat. It can be just exploring different instruments, touching them, playing them, or using instruments to create sound effects for a story you're telling. Even just making music with other people, that's huge for social skills. It's all about interacting with the sound, not just letting it wash over you. So when we put all of this together, what's the big takeaway? It's this. Making music isn't just a fun hobby or an after-school activity. It is, quite literally, one of the most complete workouts you can possibly give a developing brain. I mean, just think about it for a second. When a child plays an instrument, they are using their ears, their hands, their eyes, their memory, their emotions, all at the exact same time. It's a full-body, full-brain workout. Honestly, there's almost no other single activity that integrates so many different brain systems so powerfully. The scientific consensus on this is really clear. As one major review put it, musical training requires this huge cortical and subcortical commitment. Basically, it uses a ton of brain power, and that's what creates that amazing transfer of learning to all these other cognitive functions. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. If we know all this, if we know that music physically builds a better, faster, more connected brain, then doesn't it seem a little crazy that it's often the very first thing cut from school budgets? Shouldn't it be treated as a course subject, just as fundamental as math or reading? It's definitely something to think about. That's it for this one. Thanks for listening.